Goalkeepers, nervous strikers, they'll deliver. Crowd roars erupted, you can feel the quake. 80,000 voices.
Hello everybody, how you doing? You're welcome to the channel. You're welcome to the show. How are you doing? So today we're talking about Nigerian Super Eagles, giving updates as to what's happening at camp. Players who've joined the team, who've joined the camp. Victor Osimhen is on his way, I think, and then you have the likes of Ademola Lookman has arrived. Stanley Nwabali has arrived as well. You know, so you can see the camp is really bubbling at this time. Yeah, the camp is really bubbling at this time. So let me know your some opinions, and don't forget as well, we'll also be giving opportunities for people to join the second please. Yeah, an opportunity for people to join the show either via comments, of course, and of course we'll be dropping the links to the video, and you can join us. Sorry, we apologize for that. You can join us that way. So let's go straight into it. I'll bring up some things now, share up on my screen, and let's go on with that. So I'll share my screen in a minute, and so you can see lots of Stanley Nwabali arrive in camp. Semi Ajayi is in camp as well. You can see Stanley. Yeah, you can see Stanley Nwabali is in camp. I know some of us have our misgivings about Stanley Nwabali. You know, some people are saying maybe they don't want him to be between the sticks. But for me, I would say between himself and Maduka Okoye right now, he is the better option. Maduka Okoye has had a couple of games where he's looked good for Udinese, but for me, I still think Stanley Nwabali is the man, because Maduka Okoye has had his opportunities to be number one, especially when Uzoho was in goal. He will have opportunities to come in goal, and then he'll make some elementary, primary, childish errors. So I think he's come back in good form, but now I think Stanley Nwabali is the guy. I just need him to rein in some of his antics a bit, because we don't want goalkeepers being sent off for for some crazy reason, for some odd reason that has nothing to do with actually playing football. He needs to have his thinking cap on. He needs to be fully concentrated as well. So in the camp, Tolani Kodare is there, Ademola Lookman is there, Simon Moses is there as well, new boy, Olakunle Olusegun is also there. So the camp is bubbling. So first off, let me ask you guys watching, what expectation for the team going into this game that we played? That we played on the 13th? What are your expectations for the Nigerian Super Eagles? For me, there's only one thing: going to that game, get a result any way you want to get it. Now, playing fine football is important. Is getting all points, getting the win rather in that game, and moving on to play Cameroon or DR Congo. I know a lot of people are thinking Gabon, well, would be a pushover at a side where you just win. No, is that what you're thinking? No way. You have to respect. The Togolese team, because, right? I'll share this in a bit. So I have to respect the Togolese team because, Gabonese team, because have a look at their group, what they did to their group, how many points they finished with, how many goals they finished with in that group, and have a look at the points Nigeria finished in that group was 17 points about. So like we have no legs to stand on to say, oh, we're going to overlook Gabon and start thinking about Cameroon. This is a game where you want to be fully focused. And while I think you should be confident, because I think the Nigerian Super Eagles, the players that are in the team at this minute, should be able to compete against any African side, right? But you have to take this team seriously. And for me, there are certain areas in the team that give me cause for concern, like the midfield, right? I know what you guys think about the midfield of this team. I'm not too happy with it. You know, having the likes of Benitez Kingston, I was thinking this would be his first time with the national team, but he's not there. We're still having to rely on Iwobi, Al Hassan Yusuf. I don't think he's good enough, but he always seems to be there. And Wilfred Ndidi as well has been called up. I think he's in camp already. And then of course, Ejuke, for whatever reason, was not invited. Some people said, "Oh, because he played on the team for Crystal Palace," but he did play in the European fixture as well. So I'm thinking, why are you dropping him? Because you want to play high energy football. You look at that team, you look at that midfield. Who are the players that can really play that high energy football? Alex Iwobi, one thing I'll always give him his props for is he will always try. He will always put himself about. So I always give him his props for that, because he will not come around there and be lazing around. He will put himself about. Now, whether he has the physical ability to, keep that going for the course of the game, that's where the question is. Because he'll be facing a Lamina, a teammate incidentally of Victor Osimhen and the Gabonese midfield. And I think he's all energy as well. He used to play in the Premier League too. So you'll be facing up against these sort of players. So don't want to carry any passengers. Frank Onyeka may be someone you have to look at and say, okay, he has the energy to go box to box, to go two ways. But though he scored that beautiful goal in the game versus Benin Republic, the final goal that clinched this playoff spot, no Victor Osimhen scored a hat-trick, super impressive. But we all know the final goal that made it 4-0, that's what's, sort of sealed this playoff berth for Nigeria. So the question is, Frank Onyeka, does he have the quality? Now, going back in terms of defending, pressing, off the ball, he can do that, right? He can do that in spades. He's got the energy, he's got the tank to do it, right? That's why they call him Frank the Tank Onyeka. But the question is, going the other way, can he be creative, on a consistent basis? That's the question we'll have to answer. And then Rafael Onyedika, he's been invited severally, but he's been an unused substitute. I don't know why, because for Club Brugge, he's so important. You see him playing in the Champions League. You see what he brings to the team at the top level. So why he hasn't played under Eric Chelle is something that's still amazing to me. Hopefully he gets his time, today. And then, not today, but in this playoff game. And then you have a look at the defense. That's where we have another issue as well. Because right now, you just have one right back in practice side Samuel. And a lot of people are saying, right, what's his name now? Benjamin Frederick is the other right back. But when you take Benjamin Frederick out of that centre back position, you make the team lose out on something. Because you see that partnership between Calvin Bassey and Benjamin Frederick. I think that is one partnership that allows the team to cook, that allows the team to really play to its potential. Because when you have Calvin Bassey and Benjamin Frederick able to push up a few meters in front, then that allows those two central midfielders to even push up and press against the opposition back line, and then allowing what I call the wingers now, or tens, because for me, for the most part, Emma Lookman is a left winger, Chukwueze is a right winger, but somehow they're going to play as tens in some moments in the game and go out wide as well. So let's see how that shakes out. So that defensive thing, having Benjamin Frederick playing at right back while he's played there well, that one thing I'll give him credit for, because when he was moved up from centre back to play right back, I'm like, is this going to really work? Is Eric Chelle setting up this boy for failure? But he went there and owned it, so that means maybe he plays there. Pastor Samuel sits on the bench, and William Troost-Ekong and Captain Bassey we play in that centre back pairing. But now the issue with that is that means the team would have to defend slightly deeper. You have to Ekong play more for sweeper type role, or as opposed to pressing high up the pitch. And then on the left hand side, of course, Bruno Yimachi. I think we have less problems on the left hand side. Bruno Yimachi and Zaire Sanusi. So I think those players are still being expected, because right now in camp we have 14 players that have turned up so far. So I think maybe waiting for another 10. Yeah, 10, because it's a 24-man squad, which is a bit odd to me. I thought they were allowed to invite 26 men. So I don't understand why the NFF always seems to, opt for 23, 24. Why not go with the full complement of players that you're allowed, to go to such a tournament with? Because this is a mini tournament. It's not a one-off. You're going to be camping in the same place. You play a semi-final. You play the semi-final, and then hopefully you're going to play final. So it's kind of a mini tournament. So let's see how it will shake down. And then for the attack as well, you got Tula Rokodare available. Would I say that? Tula Rokodare is in the building. Victor Osimhen still being expected. Paulo Nwachu was one person I was thinking maybe he gets an invite, given that Terry Murphy is out injured. And this is why I often talk about the NFL, because of course we talk about the players, which is good, and you have your right to talk about the players. If they perform well, you praise them. If they don't perform well, you also criticize them. So that's fair play, But the issue I have is now you're playing a 4-2-2-2 formation, which means you're going to start with two out-and-out strikers. At least you start with two strikers, where one maybe plays as a support striker and one is the main arrowhead striker, right? Now the issue I have is you just have, Victor Osimhen, Tula Rokodare. Who is the other person there? I'll just check quickly. Who is the other striker? I know we either have just three strikers or two out-and-out strikers. So you've got Cameroon, Bassey, Samuel Chukwueze, Tolu Arokodare, Olakunle Olusegun, Wilfred Ndidi, Troost-Ekong. So if it kind of feels like, yeah, I'll bring this up. I'll bring this up on the screen and let's look at this together, because it does feel to me like the way this team was constructed, the way the team was put together, leaves a lot to be desired. It's a bit of an unbalanced team, and this is why I keep pointing fingers at the NFL, because you have the responsibility of bringing players in, and we all know that they don't leave inviting players entirely to the coach, whatever reasons are, because I think that should be the remit of the coach, because if he wins, if he loses, you are going to sack him based on the performances of the players on the pitch. So you should allow him to invite the players he thinks can help him, do the job. So I'll share the screen in a minute and let's have a look. I think we've got lots of forwards, but we just have two strikers. Nigerian Super Eagles just has, two strikers here. So I'll bring this up here. Yeah. What's going on here? Well, so I'll share this again. You can see it now. Technical issues. Good. Anyways, we'll rock it that way, and I'll bring it up. So, when you're looking at what you have for forwards, you have Ademola Lookman, Moses Simon, Victor Osimhen, Tula Rokodare, Chidera Ejuke, Akko Adams. So you got Akko Adams, you got Tula Rokodare, and you got Victor Osimhen. So that means you just have three actual strikers. If you're going with this sort of formation, you should be looking to have two players for each position, right? So you should have two players as strikers and two players that can replace them off the bench. But here you just got three, which is a bit odd to me. I don't know what you think about it. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section if it's something that that you like, if something that you're going with, is something that you have some questions about. So for me, I think Paulo Onuachu should have been here because he's been on fire form for his club, Trabzonspor, in the Turkish league. I think he scored more goals so far in the Turkish league than Victor Osimhen, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he should have been here, you know, not just to make a note, because I think he can bring something different as well. So you have your car down to Laru Kodare, Victor Osimhen, and then you have him. So that would have been something nice to have, but then we find ourselves. And then Chidera Ejuke, nice to see that he's back in the fold. He's someone that I think the last time he actually played for Nigeria was in that Nations Cup that Gabon was the coach of the team. You know, he has been blighted with injuries. He's been fairly decent for Sevilla, but he always seems to pick up injuries each time he's invited to, you know, the Super Eagles setup. But thankfully, he's fit. I'm sure he's going to play in those 2 10s/winger roles, you know, behind the 2 forwards. He's very good with his dribbling and his serious pace. So he's someone that I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. This is one of those players. This is the last chance alone for them. Ademola Lookman, I'm sure he'll be happy to leave Atalanta behind. You know, the talk that he's archived everything concerning Atalanta from his Instagram page. Well, I think the way the coach is going about it, I think the way the whole club is going about this Ademola Lookman business is just madness for me, because I think Ademola Lookman, and that's one thing I've been trying to say to people is, forget all the sweet words that clubs will tell you when you're about signing a contract. Protect yourself. Have a release clause. Have a buyout clause, a reasonable one that clubs can afford to get you out of a tight spot like this. Because the way the coach is going about it, the way the club is going about it, they don't seem to give him any protection whatsoever. Although, incidentally, the coach for Atalanta, I think he's already gone. A new coach is coming in. And maybe does that mean a new lease of life for Ademola Lookman? I don't know. But now talking about Nigerian Super Eagles, for sure he will start on one side, and the way it is right now, I think Samuel Chukwueze will start on the other side, or maybe Simon Moses as well will start. Olakunle Olusegun, I think he's slightly different from what you have with Samuel Chukwueze, because he's more someone with serious, who's spacey, more powerful, and more direct in his running. I don't think he's as skillful as or has much flair as your Samuel Chukwueze or Ademola Lookman, but he is more of the guy you give the ball, head down, pace, run at opposition, takes his shot. But I hope he's learned from the game. Nigeria played with the Benin Republic. There's an opportunity he had. He could have squared that ball. That could have been a goal for the Super Eagles. But maybe nerves. You know, these players also have nerves come game day. So maybe that's it. And I hope he's learned his lesson. So looking at the midfield, once again, Iwobi, Alex Iwobi, Frank Onyeka, Wilfred Ndidi, Rafa Onyedika. Like I said, Uche Santos is a big miss here. I don't get why he's not been invited. You know, some people say he played because he played on the 20 for Crystal Palace, you know, and then you have someone who's playing the MLS. I keep mentioning the MLS. People don't understand this because even the United States of America, that's where you have Major League Soccer. Their players are living. As in, when a player leaves the MLS or leaves American football to go to an European club, maybe PSV or Dortmund, they see that as a sign of progress. They see that as a sign of, you know, a person going to a bigger and better league, right? You know, they see that as, okay, this person is improving. In fact, they take it as a knock if someone is still in the MLS and makes it to the US men's national team. So the same thing should apply. Going to the MLS is not the best place that would make me feel like, yeah, you're a good player. And then as well, when you're in the MLS, are you dominating it? That's the next question, because you could be in a lower league, in not so fancy league, but you absolutely dominate that league. That when they're talking about the best 11, you are always in the best 11 for your position. Then that can make me think maybe it's a question of opportunity, you know. But then again, when you're talking about opportunity, he used to play for Real Antwerp, right? And Belgium is normally the launching pad to the German league or the Bundesliga or the Premier League. It's usually a launching pad. So when you move from Real Antwerp in Belgium and you land somewhere in the MLS, then it makes me think, not so good. And the few times I've seen him play for Super Eagles, I haven't been too impressed. But that's it. And Alex Iwobi, he's in the team. Final hurrah, let's see how that one shapes up. Defenders, I've talked about it. William Troost-Ekong. But before I go on to talk about William Troost-Ekong, does this list look horrid to you? Just have a look. Even the way the names are written, the list looks horrid. You're seeing someone like Victor Osimhen called Osimhen Victor. You're seeing Ademola Lookman. It's not Lookman Ademola. It looks a lot. It looks like it was rushed. It looks like someone was playing games with this. But that's a different discussion for another day. Talking about NFF and their inefficiency and all that. That's a different discussion. Calvin Bassey. Okay, so we're looking at it. Calvin Bassey and Ekong will be the two centre back pairings, and Benjamin Frederick, who is in camp, thankfully, will be playing at right back the way I see it. But choosing Mawazim, I think he will be another player on the bench. It's so sad, so unfortunate for Igor Ogbu as he misses out on this one. And so talking about centre backs, I think it's time. It is time. I've been saying this for a while. It is time that the Nigerian Super Eagles, the NFF, the Sports Commission begins to get new crop of players, especially in this defense, because we're seeing people fade away. Bright side Samuel isn't that great in my opinion. William Troost-Ekong is getting on in years. So I think this is the time you begin to look for people to come in and have an impact on this team. Igor Ogbu, fair play, he's injured, so he can't be here. But how about Buhari? Other names, David Odogu, start looking for centre-back replacement, because we are seeing it, that the team is beginning to fade, away. Now for the left-back slot, Bruno Yemachi and then Zaidu Sanusi. So I'm thinking maybe Bruno Yemachi starts for this one and Zaidu Sanusi maybe comes off the bench. Zaidu Sanusi, I think is an okay player, but I think Bruno Yemachi is better. And I think Felix Agu is right up there and he brings something different. But unfortunately, he's out injured and may even miss out on the AFCON. So fingers crossed, and our thoughts and prayers are with Felix Agu. Hopefully, he comes back well and begins to play, take a claim for himself. But obviously, he missed out on this one. And then Semi Ajayi also invited. So is he going to start alongside Calvin Bassey, or to be him and Troost-Ekong? How is it going to work? So that's it. Looking at this team, Stanley Wabali, Maso Basuge, Adelaide has been dropped in favor of Maduka Okoye. Maduka Okoye, for me, I look at him, nice guy. He's nice resurgence, because he had this match fixing thing, that he got suspended for, and now he's back in the fold. So nice to have him in the team, but Stanley Wabali, for me, will start now. That being said, if you want to join the conversation, I'll drop the link to the video. You can click on it and join the call. So you can click on the link and join. So let me know your opinions on this list. If you have a different opinion to mine, are you satisfied with it? So let me know. I satisfied with the list. Are there names that you would have rather seen on this list that are not here? Let me know. So the game is going to be played on the 13th of November by 4 p.m. I think 4 p.m. that's Nigerian time. So you guys feel for that one. And then, of course, I'm thinking, where would you get to watch it? I think that would also be available on FIFA Plus, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'll just do a quick check and I'll bring it up for us to, have a look. I think you can watch it rather on FIFA Plus, where you have been watching, where I've been watching all the other games. So, pardon me, just a quick search. I'll bring this up. And what's a bit funny, and that's why I said there's something that happened. No, Chidera isn't what I think the report that the NFF were interested in getting him to play for a Nigerian, to at least to play for Nigeria, you know. But for some reason, um, Chelsea didn't release him, saying something about yeah, saying something about the Under 20 World Cup not being in the FIFA calendar, or at least for this particular time frame because of the FIFA Club World Cup. So but now he's been released to play for the for the under 17 side of England. You know, so that's the mad thing. That's the mad thing there. I hope the NFF still have their heads in the right place if they want to get him. Let's see how that shakes down. I'll just check this quickly. Where did we watch? I think it should still be FIFA Plus. I think it should be on FIFA Plus. So I'll give you more information later on. You can see Semia Jai and Ademola Lukman, you know, joining up with the team. Share my screen in a minute. You can see Ademola Lukman, Semia Jai have joined up with the team. Stanley Wabali has already been there. So, um, good one, good one. Hopefully, he has his head in the right place too. Because he's super important. Like I said, Victor Osimhen is the main guy. Of course, there's no argument about it. But the next person that is instrumental or very important to Nigeria winning any game is Ademola Lukman. So he has to be in the right headspace. I hope he can compartmentalize, all the issues he's having with Atalanta. I hope he can keep that to one side, focus on this game, and help Nigeria win. This not just this game versus Gabon, but also go on to win, the game, to win the entire playoff, and hopefully get to that intercontinental final. And let's see how that all shapes up. So, tell some opinions in the comment section. I would like to know what you think. And then, of course, I've dropped the link to the video, dropped the link to the call. You can click on it if you want to join, and let's have a discussion live on here. In just a brief moment, I will be back and we'll continue with this discussion. So,
My people where they listen to me, my life running in the corner, yeah. I dey drop new video every week from morning to evening, I know the fear. I spend my time and my data to make sure say una dey entertained. When I check my analytics, it dey make me vex. Viewers dey plenty, but subscribers dey fade. Subscribe no be only giveaway, oh. Make una support your boy, make it go. If you like my content, make you show. Give me that red button, make it glow. Subscribe no be only giveaway, oh. Make una support your boy, make it go. If you like my content, make you show. Give me that red button, make it glow. Some of una they watch from morning till night. You they comment, you they like, but you no click. You they wait for when I go do promo, when I go announce the next phone or a ticket. Not true, I like to give back to una. Now why I they do give away from time to time. But if una no subscribe, I go get more. Now your subscription be the reason why I decline. Subscribe no be only giveaway, oh. Make una support your boy, make it go. If you like my content, make you show. Give me that red button, make it glow. Subscribe no be only giveaway, oh. Make una support your boy, make it go. If you like my content, make you show. Give me that red button, make it glow. Imagine say you dey build your house and your neighbors they come use your water free. Then they take water and they wash car, but when you ask them to help you with the house, then they flee. That's all you need, my people, no be lie. If una no subscribe, my channel go die. I need your support to reach for the sky. So please, my people, just give it a try. Subscribe, no be only giveaway, oh. Make una support your boy, make it go. If you like my content, make you show. Give me that red button, make it glow. Subscribe, no be only giveaway, oh. Make una support your boy, make it go. If you like my content, make you show. Give me that red button, make it glow. Yeah, hit that button now. Make it turn from red to grey. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you every single day. Peace. Shakers and a sings melody. Oh yeah, make una listen. It's your boy on the mic. We dey talk about a legend. See me, number 9. Waiting them they talk, waiting them they yarn. Say one boy they call me, they set alarm from Lagos to Lagos. The fire don't burn. Victor Osimhen, he don't reach it gone. No be small boy playing a serious matter. He dey score goals steady like Wamano Skaka. Defenders they fear, they shake like leaf. When Osimhen come, they go no relief. Never. Osimhen big baller, oh yeah. He dey put them over nets, make we shall go clear. Power they leg, head down for the air. Now international striker, he no gets compare. Big baller, Osimhen make them hear. They make us proud for everywhere. See movement for big, so sharp, so precise. He go dribble 2-3, no need to think twice. The way they run like lion for chase. The position defenders, they lose the place. Go head it on strong like thunder for sky. Go they go confused, don't know where to try. From Lille to Napoli, the story they sweet. Every match he play, they tap your football tree. Osimhen big baller, oh yeah. And they put the ball for next, then we shall go clear. Power they leg, head down for the air. Now international striker, he no gets compare. Big baller, Osimhen make the year. They make us proud for everywhere. Them try to mark up, them try to hold them tight. But Victor too strong, he they shine like light. He they represent Niger with all of the might. Super Eagles for life, he go fight the good fight. From dusty beaches, stadium so grand. They carry our hopes for all of the land. Osimhen big baller, oh yeah. He put them over next, then we shall go clear. Power the leg, head down for the air. International striker, he no gets compare. Big baller, Osimhen make the year. They make us proud for everywhere.
Okay. Yes, you're welcome back. Thanks for staying on. Still giving you updates as respect to Nigerian Super Eagles as they prepare to take on the Gabonese side in this FIFA World Cup playoff game. Of course, how did Nigeria get here? First off, failing to get automatic qualification, but going on to beat Benin Republic 4-0 at home in the Uyo Stadium to qualify for this playoff. So, mini tournament coming up against Gabon. And after that game, hopefully, go on to play the winner of DR Congo and Cameroon. Then, when that's done, you're going on to play teams from CONCACAF, teams from South America as well. I think the South American representatives are Bolivia, and you have, I think, New Caledonia as well. I think that's another team that Nigeria could be facing. Now, not wanting to count our eggs before they hatch or putting the cart before the horse, I think those games, Nigeria should be favorites to win those games as well. But first and first, I have to take care of business. Now, someone is saying, or at least there have been something on X, referred to Sunday Lisa saying there should be a code of conduct for the Nigerian players. First off, let's listen to what Sunday Lisa had to say, and then I will respond to it. And of course, I would like to know some opinions in the comment section. And also, if you want to join the call, you can click the link and join it as well. So I will just quickly bring this up on screen, and then we can all watch it and listen to it together. So let's go. So,
I surprise you. I don't blame these players too much. If the structure is not there to say, okay, this is how you have to behave, this is how you have to do. It's like one day, Nigeria was playing World Cup qualifiers. And I was responding to messages on my private account on Twitter. And I saw a flash from a Nigerian player in the camp in Uyo who had filmed his room and was showing his room in the social media and showing Uyo outside. And they were playing World Cup qualifier the next day. And I said to myself, Buruba, oh God forgive me for using this word. If Nami be coach, I don't decamp you that day. As I see that thing, I'm coming to your room, man, pick up your bag. Your head is not in this game. We are 220 million people. Now social media you don't worry about. Pick up your bag, go home. If we like, make we draw, lose. But I did sure say Super Eagles of Nigeria, I get somebody to replace you well because I gonna make sure I invite 2 good players for each position. So you just did somebody a favor. You come out, this one will play. I mean I go call and I go tell them wait and say look, in they go because you know the way to send up for the interest of the team. You see those kind of things you dare not do at your club. Why you can't try for Super Eagles?
But Kochi, I'm not.
Okay. I wonder what you guys make of that. For me, whilst I would like players to, or rather, I think all Nigerian football fans would like, players, even for all national teams, would like the players to come to camp, just sit down in their room, not move left or right, just constantly focus on the team, constantly thinking of how we're going to win, what we're going to do, how am I going to wear my boots the next day to step onto the pitch to play. But I think some level of control is necessary. But when you go over the top, because I think what the list is suggesting to some may look good, but I think it's a bit over the top. Now, if the player is videoing, training sessions, tactical meetings, where you're having meetings with the players and the coaching crew, then I can say, yes, there's an issue. If the player does it excessively, then I can say there's an issue. Yeah, I know this video is probably popping up because it's coming off the back of, Alex Iwobi putting a video out there of a place that was has been mistaken by many to be the hotel where the Super Eagles were camped, but turned out that it wasn't where they were camped. I know people are saying this oversharing. Sometimes we focus on things that are not so important, right? Some people say, oh, the hair of the players, or the dreads. Come on. Dreads of players is an issue. For me, I don't think it's an issue, right? I don't think, how the player keeps his hair is an issue. I don't think a player videoing his bedroom, his hotel room is an issue. For me, is when we go into training, when the coach, when Eric Chelle says, okay, Osimhen, Iwobi, Troost-Ekong, Ademola Lookman, Chidera, Ejuke, Tolu Arukodare come on the pitch. How does that player train? How does the player train when he's on the pitch? Because sometimes, let's understand something. Just as we are fans, we are under pressure. We some of us can't sleep until the game day. Some of us can't sleep a couple of hours to the game, and we need something to release stress. Some of these players as well, they have this pressure on them. So sometimes just relaxing, joking around with themselves in their rooms, video, doing some little video stuff, is what they need to release stress, right? But one thing I would say on the other hand is when you're doing all these things, right, you have to bring it come game day. Someone was showing a picture, slightly different issue, but someone was showing a picture of some Argentine players with tattoos, sleeve tattoos all over their arms, their forearms, and all that, and was going on about it. For me, I have no issues. Do I have any tattoos? I don't, right? Would I advise anyone to get tattoos? I won't. But it's your choice. If you want to have tattoos all over your body, you want to have your face covered in tattoos, no problem. That's left for you. But come game day, are you going to bring it? Are you going to bring your A game? Video your room anyhow you want to do. Are you coming with your A game? Let's not forget, years and years back, I know this is aging me a bit, but years and years back, you in a team, you could see just one player wearing a white boot. The rest will be on black boots. And that player with the white boot would be a special player, a dynamic player. Like a Champions League final between Ajax and AC Milan I watched some time ago. Marco Simeone, blonde guy, had long blonde hair. His shirt was tucked out of his shorts. He wore white boots, and he just stood out. And you saw him; he was special on the pitch. Though AC Milan ended up losing that game to Ajax Amsterdam with Finidi George in that team, Wanko Kanu in that team as well. Patrick Kluivert of Holland scored, I think, the winning goal in that Champions League final. But he was special. He stood out. But nowadays, everyone's wearing special boots, red, white. Everyone, when Thierry Henry used to play, he used to be like the only one who had the socks drawn up to his knees. And when he drew your attention, who is this guy? And you saw him was a special player. But now everyone does it. So for me, the point I'm making is, as long as you're going to bring your A game, then whatever you do, as long as you don't reveal team secrets, you don't disturb the camp, then I'm not going to be too harsh on you. And there's a point he made there as well, which is important in another respect. We're talking about, you would have brought two players who are equally good. But that's the thing with this team. That is the team with this Super Eagles team. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the team critically. Right? You look at that right back spot. Is there any Benjamin Frederick? Even if he's a centre back, he is better than Bassey Samuel, head and shoulders. Look at the midfield, for instance. Alex Iwobi, Frank Onyeka, Wilfred Ndidi, Al-Hassan Yusuf. When you compare Wilfred Ndidi and Al-Hassan Yusuf, is Al-Hassan Yusuf even close to being good enough to replace Wilfred Ndidi? Now, when you look at what's his face, you look at Alex Iwobi. Who do you have on the bench? I'm not saying Alex Iwobi is the best midfielder in the world, but who do you have on the bench that can replace him? None. So this is where we have to hold the Nigerian Football Federation to account. Because let's face it, we know this is true. Even as you're watching this, even as you're hearing my voice wherever you are, you know this is true. They do not allow the coach have carte blanche. They do not allow the coach have final say on every player that is invited to the national team, to the Nigerian Super Eagles for a World Cup qualifier, for a World Cup qualifying playoff like this one, or for indeed the AFCON. Right? They have control, one or two players. That's why anytime the list is released, you always have a player that you scratch your head and wonder, how this one can't enter there? How come? How come? How did it happen? You always have a player that you scratch your head and wonder how he's on the list. And that is a problem. Because I think that affects the player's mentality as well. Because in your job, if you're the only person that is good at, let's say, operating a particular software, operating a particular system, no one else can do it. There's a way you carry yourself, there's a way you go about, you feel like, yeah, You're the absolute business. No one can compete with you. The company can't afford to lose you, right? But if you look over your shoulder and you see someone that can actually take your place, that can actually come in for you and take your position if you don't do your job properly, you sit up. You sit up. And that is the problem the Super Eagles have had, right? Attack Victor Osimhen. I'm sure it will be difficult for you to find someone who is better than Victor Osimhen. But who can at least try to do 70% of what he does in terms of that pace, in terms of that pressing? Who else can do it in the team? That is a question. Tula Rokodare brings a different skill set. Big, strong, he can run the channels, but I don't think he's the best person you want to do that high octane press. These are things that we should begin to look at. Ademola Lookman. If Ademola Lookman is not in the team, who can match his production level? Even if not 100% of what he does, but 65, 70. Who? And it's not because we don't have the players. That is the thing. For some countries, maybe like San Marino, or some countries, maybe you have one decent player and everyone else is just not good in the whole country. So you have to hold on to that person. But in Nigeria, you have so many players, so many good players. Why don't you incorporate them into the team? Why don't you incorporate them into this team? So for the goalkeeping side, I would say fair play. You've got what's his face, Maduka Okoye in there. So maybe he would be the competition for Stanley Wabale. Let's see how that shapes up. Oh, thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof. Say good job. Says good job from Prof. Thank you so much, Prof. The link is in the chat. If you want to click and join, please don't hesitate to do that. So that is an issue. Maduka Okoye is right now in this, is part of this squad, so I think he comes in and he would make Stanley Wabale look over his shoulder. Although I don't think at this point he can be the number one because he still has to prove himself a bit. When people say in the friendly game that he stood between the sticks, he was very good. So fair play in that regard. But for me, I look at it and like, But other areas, you look at this team, and like I was talking about, looking at the list itself, not the players on the list, but the way the list was rightly designed, how the names were written on the list, it feels like something that was rushed, that was just hurriedly done, because some players were not meant to be there, or some players, that were meant to be there were dropped off hurriedly, because you could see rather than having first name and surname like Victor Osimhen, you're not having surname then first name. Instead of having Maduka Okoye, you're not having Okoye Maduka. So all those things tell me that the level of efficiency and preparedness of the NFF is not good enough. It's not good enough because at this point in time, the way African football has been developing, you cannot afford to wing it. You cannot afford to say, oh, well, we just invite a couple of players who win, win. You must put some thought into it, right? You must put some thought into it. You must prepare your team very well. Look at Senegal. They've got another dual national into their team. They seem to just do it easily. Asane Diao, a little bit for Spain and Senegal, they've got him in. Boom. They've got Mbaye, a top one kid, from PSG. A little bit for France and Senegal, they've got him in. Boom. And I said this to some people and they think I'm just joking, but I'm really serious. If an FA of an African country acts rightly, genuinely, seriously, with pure intentions, I want you to come play for our national team. It's done. We've seen it in Algeria, we've seen it in Senegal. We've seen it, So Morocco, the leaders, they get both homegrown and grassroots and now I think it's reconnected back now. So hopefully you can see You can see me now. I don't know what's wrong with the network, but thankfully it's reconnected. This is here again. I would have to take it off. To see the preparedness of this team, even beyond this play of going to the AFCON. What are we doing? Keep dual nationals aside, because each time I mention dual nationals, people lose their minds. People dare to say someone named Michael Kayode is not Nigerian enough. Someone named Ethan Waneri is not Nigerian enough for them, which is just silly talking about opinion. But then look at someone like Philip Otele. He doesn't have to do any nationality switch. All you do, you invite him, he's in the team. All you do, call him up, Philip Otele will like to give you this honor to represent Nigeria, give you this invite, and he's there. He doesn't have to do anything. And for an official game like this, the club would have to release him. So why are we not having these players in there? So Taiwo Okunade says our NFF are just as useless as anything. I don't see why we are yet to cap tie Honest Ahano, Michael Kayode, Leslie Gochukan, Chukwueze, William Monsula, and team. That's Timothy Irebunam. Yeah, that's a big question for me. It's a big question because Honest Ahano is right there. And people keep going on about this and we don't want to beg the player. We beg players. No. And this, I keep saying this, it's not a Nigerian thing. It's not a Nigerian thing. Right? People say, if you support this, then that means the NFF will not improve the league, will not improve grassroots. There are two different discussions. Look at countries that have very good leagues that are still battling and looking for ways to get one nationals. What about Morocco? Their league is way better than the Nigerian league. Way better. Way, way better. Right? But they still gone about getting dual nationals, getting their home base, as you know, homegrown players, meshing the two talent pools to get the best team possible. And that's what Nigeria should be doing. That's what Nigeria should be doing. Especially when you have these opportunities. You have these opportunities that open up, you seize it. Ahano is there. He's not going to be eligible to play for Italy until he's 18 next year. This is an opportunity. But let's see what happens with the friendly game against Egypt. If he gets to play that one, I don't know. And then, of course, Michael Kayode, we know what he brings. He was not invited as well to this Italian team. And I know some people will say, he was not invited. So if Italy doesn't invite him, bring him to Nigeria, that's a letdown. It's not good enough. You have all these sort of players, man. You should be using. And for me is, even if you say, we don't want dual nationals, we want someone that is dug out of the soil of Mushi, that is brought out of the river of Port Harcourt. What is the NFF doing? Because you're failing on every count, right? The dual national side, you're not getting. The homegrown one, you're not getting. Boys that push and force themselves, because we know how the Nigerian football system is. These boys, a lot of them, they fight so hard to get themselves into a position where they play for European clubs, and all you have to do as an FA is invite some of them in. And when I talk and people say, should everybody play for them? I ask the question, who is the person in the team right now standing in their way? So for that left wing spot, Ademola Lookman is number one. Granted, accept. Who is the second person that is standing in the way of Philip Otele? Fair play, we've got Chidera Ejuke is coming, but I think, this is just my personal opinion, I would love to see what your opinion is on this in the comment section. If you want to join, you can click the link and join as well. I think Philip Otele is just a better player than Chidera Ejuke. Chidera Ejuke, he's got pace, he's skilled football. When you talk about the complete package, which is pace, which is skill, Chidera Ejuke has both. The last bit, which is end product, goals and assists. Philip Otele has that ahead of Chidera Ejuke. That's just my humble opinion. And one thing we complain about, what is that one thing we complain about the Nigerian Super Eagles? If Victor Osimhen doesn't score, Nigeria does not win games. So you need as many options as you can get that'll help you win games. So for me, I think maybe some people want to say, which is, there's a point to it if you say, this team that's been together, let's play till these playoffs are complete. Then maybe for a friendly game against Egypt, maybe in the AFCON, you could get to see some of these players. Maybe. But come on now. Looking at the team, when I look at the midfield, I look at the midfield on the Nigeria Super Eagles and I shake my head. I say, really? This is what we're going with? This is the best we have? Wilfred Ndidi, probably this is final hurrah with the team. So, fair play in that regard. But you look at the quality of this midfield. And I've said this before on the video, but I'll have to say it again for emphasis. African football is changing. There used to be a time when you're playing Congo, you're good. Because probably all their top players are playing for France or playing for Belgium. So you have no issue. But now these teams are beginning to retain their talent. Wan-Bissaka, former Manchester United, a Western player, he's in there now with Congo. So their countries are beginning to retain their talent. Senegal, Morocco, Congo, Tunisia, Morocco, Algeria, countries are retaining their talent. They are doing best of both worlds, especially for countries like Morocco, best of both worlds. They have the best of their dual nationals overseas. They have the best of their homegrown talent as well. So that's things we should be looking at. I'll just check quickly if there's any updates on, just Super Eagles camp. Because as of the last time I checked, they had 14 players in. So I'm sure they're still waiting for the likes of Victor Osimhen, yes, and some other players to join up with the team. So it's still that 14 players that have made the team so far, that have made the journey so far. I think let's have a look at the comment section. Have a look at the comment section. Now for Olakunle Olusegun, I hope and pray he comes good. Hope and pray he comes good. That's all I can say. And there's some interesting comments to read here. So Zone Boy says, win no matter what. Of course, for me, like I said, I want Nigeria to play, dominate possession, have like 20 shots on goal. But what is more important to me right now is to win it, because we treat this as a cup game. It's not how you win it right now, it's just that you win it. It's just that you go and win it. So I'll just read the comments that we have here. So hopefully you're seeing the comments. So Zone Boy says, win no matter what. Win no matter what, for sure. That should be the mantra. Win no matter what. I don't know if you can see what is a win no matter what. So, okay, what I'll do is I will switch it up a bit. So make this bigger so everyone can see it. Put this here. I think that will be better for everybody. Right. So it says win no matter what. Yeah. That's what we all want. That's what we all want. There's no if, buts, or maybes. No if, buts, or maybes in this one. Let's win this game. Sure, this to be a South African person, says data. Interesting, funny comment. Okoye, Kingsley Uchenna. He says we must Gabonize them with goals. For me, right now, yeah, like I said, it would be lovely to see tons of goals scored, but it's just to get a win. That's what we want right now. Get a win right now. You don't gain anything for goal difference. What you gain anything for is you win. The fact that you win, that's it. There's no goal difference making any meaning right now to anybody. It's just for us to get that win and keep it moving. So, really interesting there in Super Eagles camp. Of course, we'll bring you more updates as we continue to grow with this one on the channel. But also, I want to put a question to everyone who's watching this. Yeah, because we're trying to introduce more content, or rather varied content onto the channel, and like Premier League analysis and things like that. That's something you like to see. That's something you like to see. That's something you want to be a part. You like to see on the channel, because I say it because I'm not been getting as much love for those videos as I usually get for other videos when I talk about Nigerian football. So, are you interested in the Premier League? You want to see or do some analysis of Premier League football on here? Let me know. As well, if you want to be part of the panel, let me also know as well. So, top of the show, we talked about 14 players, have made it to camp, and the whole talk about Super Eagles being camped, in a bad hotel or false. I think Iwobi himself has come out to clear the air on that one. They're camped in a very prestigious hotel in Morocco, and is close to the stadium. I think that one of the reasons was picked. So I think that's a good one. And then I want to ask this question. This has been making the rounds with respect to having South African referees. And I think the VAR guy, I think he's from Benin Republic. So I think they have South African referees, and either the fourth official is from Benin Republic. What is your opinion on that one? For me, it's a bit odd. It's just odd that you say, okay, what we're going to go with is we're going to go with South African referees, when we all know people who occupy high positions in South African sport are coming to say they don't want Nigeria to qualify. Nigeria should not go to the World Cup. It's a bit odd to me that you chose to go with a South African referee for that one. But it shouldn't really matter that much. It shouldn't really matter. I think if you play well, you should be winning that game. I get where everyone is coming from, and I, for one, would have preferred a referee or a linesman from a different country altogether. If you're CAF, why would you put yourself in that situation where people begin to judge or question the integrity of the competition? Why would you put yourself in that sort of situation? So that's my thoughts and opinions on that one. And then just to say, there'll be more shows coming up on this channel. The Premier League show I will be on here as well, and then watch alongs for this playoff game, and hopefully the next one as well, and for the friendly game versus Egypt, as will be explained on the channel, and as well the AFCON itself. More shows will be coming up on this channel. Multiple videos will be posted on the channel tomorrow. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for viewing the channel. I hope you smash the like button, and I'll see you on the next video. Stay well and stay blessed. Bye-bye.